Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss. New details tonight on the incident that took place at the Lynx Apartments Monday afternoon. Plus, a woman is now in jail after police say she assaulted an officer at an Oxford gas station. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now. Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Juliana Jackson. Spring break is next week and we are all looking for those spring-like temperatures. Well, let's check in with weather anchor Erica Fontana to get a quick look at our current conditions.
Good evening, everybody. So right now the current temperature in Oxford is 66 degrees. It is a little bit cloudy. Winds coming out of the northeast around 10 miles per hour, and there is no chance of rain. Back to you, Juliana.
Thank you, Erica. According to Oxford Police, there are new details about the incident that took place Monday afternoon at the Lynx Apartments. 20-year-old LaCarrianne Ruffin was arrested and charged with armed robbery and aggravated assault. Officials say that officers went to the complex where a man in the parking lot was suffering from a gunshot wound. Medics carried the victim to the hospital in Oxford and then to a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. The victim is in stable but critical condition. And also in Oxford, a woman is now in jail after police say she assaulted an officer at a gas station. 36-year-old Jacqueline Denise Gills is charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer and possession of a stolen firearm last Sunday before 2 a.m. Oxford police say they responded to a disturbance at the Double Quick parking lot. An officer says they felt a metal object against their temple when attempting to break up a fight that formed in a large crowd in the lot. The firearm was quickly taken away from Gills. According to authorities, the gun was reportedly stolen from Oxford back in 2020. In Nashville, 2 adults and 3 children died in a plane crash next to the interstate on Monday night. The victims were all Canadian citizens, and officials are working to identify them. Nashville police say the plane's pilot reported engine and power failure prior to the crash.
The flight originated in Ontario, Canada. I don't have the specifics on where it took off from. It then subsequently made several stops, one in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then, of course, in Mount Sterling.
The investigation into the plane crash digs deeper as the National Transportation and Safety Board gets involved. After a call for witness evidence, the air safety investigator says his inbox is consistently receiving new pieces of information. Ole Miss spring break begins this weekend, and students from Oxford and around the country will flock to beaches for a week of fun in the sun. Some locations, particularly Mexico, have been deemed dangerous by the United States Department. NewsWatch reporter Carson Ware shares strategies for staying safe on break.
Each of these packets is designed to help Ole Miss students stay safe this spring break.
Yeah, so the William McGee Center is hosting a safe spring break event today, giving out some snacks, some spring break goodie bags with sunscreen, liquid IV, and some Boost.
Student volunteer Grace Gober is arming students with information.
So we have created these little pamphlets hitting on general wellness, substance safety, and talking about the beach body and appreciating your body if you're going on spring break.
The term spring break usually brings images like this to mind. Beaches full of college kids eager to cut loose and get their minds off classes. But a travel advisory from the U.S. State Department is currently urging people not to go to some places in Mexico, such as Chihuahua and Mazatlan. But student Vaughn Byer is packing for Los Cabos, where increased caution is encouraged.
I've been going for like the past 20-something years with my family, so we've always felt pretty comfortable. I mean, there is some parts of downtown that wouldn't really go to after a certain time, but I've always felt pretty safe there.
Byer, like thousands of other students, says he's just looking forward to having fun.
I'd say almost, I mean, especially our age, like going into spring break, there has been like issues with spring break kids, but I don't think it's too big of an issue. I think everyone's just pretty much there looking to have fun though.
So no matter where you're venturing off to this spring break, make sure to be safe, stay with people you know, use things like sunscreen, liquid IVs, drink plenty of water, make sure to eat, and most importantly, have a good time. I'm Carson Ware, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
And though spring brings in fun memories and time on the beach, it also brings in the one thing that a lot of people struggle with: pollen. Let's turn back to weather anchor Erica Fontana to hear how pollen could be affecting us this season.
So fortunately, the pollen is not too bad right now. It will be a low pollen count, and it will be a little bit lower on Friday with the rain coming in on Friday. Back to you, Juliana.
Thank you. Coming up, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump acclaim big wins in the Super Tuesday primaries across the country. This story and more after the break. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
Hey, Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Because picking up litter costs us time
and money.
MDOT spends $3.2 million a year picking up litter.
That's money that could be used to maintain roads and bridges,
Patch potholes.
And focus on improving Mississippi's infrastructure. Please help us help you.
We can't do it without you. Don't trash Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
I got some news today from the radio man. He spoke the words somber and as softly as he can. The world stood still and the sky opened up. I made my way to fill up my coffee cup. Then it occurred to me as the daylight sky shone blue, today's the day that Johnny met June.
Have a good summer.
You too.
Thanks.
Hey, you must be bored.
No way.
This is the guy that I was running to in the library.
You're kind of
Yeah.
guilty. So,
Oh my god.
so you like to write on desks.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Now I start to know this place that we are. You look more pretty underneath all the stars of love. Is a burning thing. Oh, how I still love to hear you sing. Oh, and everything we ever heard about heaven is true. And today's the day that Johnny met you.
Back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. A busy night unfolds amidst the 2024 election season as over 12 states held elections to pick their presidential primary nominees. Reporter Julia Benbrook shares with us the key moments to take away from this important night.
Big Super Tuesday wins for former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. Shortly after polls closed, they were both projected winners in several states, including North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. Trump celebrated at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida.
They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one.
The former president has established a commanding lead in the delegate count. His primary opponent, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, secured a projected win in Vermont, but it's not likely she'll be able to get the support needed to slow Trump's march to the nomination. It takes 1,215 delegates to become the Republican nominee.
We're going to win this election because we have no choice. If we lose the election, we're not going to have a country left.
Biden didn't face any major competition, but he was dealt a blow in U.S. territory, American Samoa, where he's projected to lose the primary to entrepreneur and investor Jason Palmer. Biden's team is already preparing for a possible rematch with Trump in November. The president released a statement acknowledging voters across the country and said they are, quote, showing that they are ready to fight back against Donald Trump's extreme plan to take us backwards. As the results continue to pour in, both candidates will be paying attention to their margins in key races to determine where to focus their energy and campaign dollars moving forward. There are also key primaries in Senate and House races, including here in California. The outcomes of those races could impact control of those two chambers. Reporting in Los Angeles County, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Both candidates now strategizing for the upcoming elections, closely monitoring key races that could influence the balance of power in the Senate and House. And speaking of the race, in surprising news, Nikki Haley has withdrawn from the Republican presidential race, leaving former President Donald Trump as the party's presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. The former South Carolina governor expressed no regrets about her campaign or any ill feelings towards the other candidates still running.
In all likelihood, Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee when our party convention meets in July. I congratulate him and wish him well. I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us. I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, "Never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind." It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that.
Despite being the last of a dozen major candidates challenging Trump, Haley failed to gain sufficient traction with voters. Nonetheless, she made history as the first Republican woman to win primaries in Vermont and Washington, D.C. And the former president and presumptive Republican nominee, Donald Trump, shows a big reaction on social media to Nikki Haley's presidential campaign exit, with Trump saying Haley got trounced on Super Tuesday. He's inviting Haley supporters to join his campaign and fight against President Biden and Democrats. The Trump campaign also sent out a fundraising blast saying, quote, "It is now time for the party to unite under Trump to win back the White House." The state of Alabama may soon see the resumption of vitro fertilization procedures as early as tomorrow or Friday. Reporter Amy Kiley brings us the latest details on this upcoming legislative process.
Legislation that would restart in vitro fertilization in Alabama could become law by tonight or tomorrow. The State House and Senate are poised for votes today. They're in response to a state Supreme Court ruling last month calling a frozen embryo a child. Lawmakers say they want to create a shield from legal liability.
Patients need to have the same protection as the doctors and the providers, and that's what we're trying to do.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey says she expects passage and will sign the legislation. In the meantime, clinics say they're on hold because they fear civil and criminal penalties.
It's so incredibly unfortunate because it really leaves these patients in a very bad spot.
At least 2 clinics say they're eager to resume treatments, and some families already have their frozen embryos.
As it stands, we don't have a choice on if we want to use that or not. We're kind of locked out of that decision right now.
The reality is, without doing another embryo transfer, without doing IVF, without having access to it, like, my journey ends.
Some critics say the legislation should go further. They want to address the court's declaration that an embryo is a child.
Can I take this embryo off income tax? Can I apply for school choice?
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Alabama lets governors sign bills electronically, and that could expedite enactment. If you have future travel plans, you may need to pack lightly. Delta Airlines raises the cost of a first checked bag on domestic flights to $35, a $5 raise from the previous price of $30. However, this is not breaking news for the flight industry, with both United and American Airlines boosting their baggage fees. According to the Department of Transportation, U.S. carriers collected $6.8 billion in 2022. Online scams cost people billions of dollars last year. The FBI in a new report reveals a record $12.5 billion in losses were reported in 2023. The Bureau says that was fueled by a surge in cryptocurrency investment fraud. Last year's total losses from scams were more than $2 billion higher than reported in the year prior. And it represents the highest tally of losses from digital scams since the Bureau began reporting on that topic more than 2 decades ago. The FBI says cyber scammers have the means to paralyze school systems, police departments, and healthcare facilities. In Denver, Colorado, a jury has awarded nearly $4 million in damages to a 78-year-old woman whose home was raided by police. Police found no evidence in that raid, and the woman ultimately sold her home of 43 years because she didn't feel safe anymore. Jennifer Campbell Hicks has the story.
On January 4th, 2022, Ruby Johnson had just gotten out of the shower when the SWAT team arrived at her Montbello home.
Anyone inside, 5380, Denver Police Department with a search warrant. You need to come to the door with your hands up.
A man who had his truck stolen with guns, cash, and drones had an old iPhone in the truck. He tracked the location to Ruby's house, then sent it to police.
Ma'am, come to me.
More than 2 years later, Ruby doesn't live in the same place anymore.
This wrecked her sense of safety and security in the place she called home for 43 years.
Tim McDonald with the ACLU litigated this case, arguing that DPD violated Ruby's rights without enough evidence to do a search and seizure and forcing her out of her home.
She's an incredibly strong and brave woman. I think they did underestimate her willingness to make sure that this didn't happen to anyone else.
Where do you think she's hiding the rifle?
That led to a 5-day jury trial and a judgment in Ruby's favor of $3.76 million.
I think this will help. It will allow her to move forward knowing that the community, a jury of her peers, saw what happened to her and said, that's wrong, that's unconstitutional. What happened to you shouldn't happen to anybody else.
The ACLU says this brought justice for Ruby. They hope it brings justice for others.
We hope we'll set a really important precedent to ensure that citizens' rights to be free from that kind of invasion of the home is not done by police unless they have probable cause.
The city of Denver will be responsible for paying the settlement. The Denver Police Department declined to comment on the verdict. The next step for one group of graduates won't be entering the workforce. Instead, they may be going to the moon. NASA's newest class of astronauts graduated during a ceremony at the Johnson Space Center in Houston on Tuesday. The 10 graduates were selected for training in 2021 from a pool of over 12,000 applicants. The group is now eligible to be assigned to future spaceflight missions, which includes going to the moon. NASA says it is now accepting applications for its next group of astronaut candidates. A new report from Europe's Copernicus confirms 2023 was the hottest year on record, confirming what we all already knew and personally felt. Data shows an alarming leap in global temperatures, bringing the world closer to a critical climate change threshold. Well, on that hot note, we'll be right back after the break.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Two flashlights.
What's up, champ? I feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon.
Thank you.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Welcome back to NewsWatch. So the current temperature here in Oxford is 66 degrees. Wind is coming out of the northeast about 10 miles per hour. No chance of rain, but it is a little bit cloudy. And current temperatures around northern Mississippi are looking pretty much the entire range of the 60s. South Haven, we have 62, Oxford, Holly Springs, 66, Corinth, 61, and then a high in northern Mississippi is in Tupelo at 69. And tonight it's going to drop down to 50, so it won't be too cold in the evening. It will still be cloudy, winds north-northwest, 5 miles per hour, and again, no chance of rain. And tomorrow it's going to be 70 degrees, so it'll be a perfect spring day. Will be a little bit cloudy, so the sun won't be beaming on us too much. It'll be southeast winds, 5-10 miles per hour, but there will be a little bit of rain, 30% chance. And tomorrow's temperatures around northern Mississippi are looking pretty much the same. 68 in South Haven, 70 Oxford, Holly Springs, and Corinth, and then 74 in Tupelo. And with the 5-day forecast, we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday are looking a little bit rainy. It'll get sunny again Sunday, Monday, and the high for the week will be Sunday with 74, and then Monday will dip down a little bit to 65.
So tonight we should be prepared for the baseball game to bring maybe a light jacket?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And besides the baseball game, what else do we have in sports?
Coming up, the men's basketball team lost a close one versus Georgia last night, and the softball team dominated against the Memphis Tigers. I'll have that and more up next in sports.
Creating a legacy takes time, takes dedication, spirit, and a greater vision. That vision starts here at the University of Mississippi. What will you be remembered by? Your character, your contributions, your friendship. Your legacy will define who we are now and who we are becoming for our state, our students, and our future. Ole Miss, build your legacy.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. I'm Evan Simmons with Sports Watch. The Ole Miss men's basketball team fell short against the Georgia Bulldogs on Tuesday night by a score of 66-69. Led by Jamin Brakefield and Jalen Murray with both 19, the Rebels would go on a 9-0 run down 11 in the second half to cut the lead down to 2 with 30 seconds remaining in the game. But the Rebels' comeback would fall short, losing by 3. The Rebels will play their final game of the season, hosting Texas A&M on Saturday at 1 p.m. You can catch all of the action on CBS. The Ole Miss Rebels softball team dominated the Memphis Tigers on Tuesday night by a score of 9-0. In an impressive performance, the Rebels scored in every inning of the game, led by Paige Smith, who drove in 2 home runs, and Jalea Lassiter with 4 runs and 3 hits. The Rebels, now sitting at 15-5, are looking to open SEC play, facing number 17 Mississippi State on March 8th through 10th in a 3-game series where we look to remind them that we still run the SIP. Ole Miss men's track and field sophomore Tariq Robinson O'Hagan has been named SEC Indoor Men's Field Athlete of the Year as announced by the conference on Wednesday morning. Robinson O'Hagan is the lone thrower worldwide at 77 feet in the weight throw and 66 feet in the shot put, and he is just one of 4 throwers in collegiate history to ever eclipse both distances. Robinson O'Hagan is one of 5 Rebel athletes competing in Boston this week at the 2024 NCAA Indoor Championships March 7th through 9th. Ole Miss Athletics announced that the 2024 Grove Bowl will be held on Saturday, April 13th at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium at 3 p.m. The Rebels are coming off their first 11-win season in school history and a Peach Bowl victory against Penn State. The hopes are high for the 2024 season as the Rebels are returning 60 players and are also welcoming in the #1 transfer portal class in the nation. The Grove Bowl serves as the finale of the Rebel spring training, which began on Wednesday. And that's all I've got for sports. Be sure to follow us on X at Rebel_Watch for the latest sports updates. Now back to you, Juliana.
Thanks, Evan. Coming up, hear how astronauts were able to vote in the Super Tuesday after the break. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
I am a nurse,
A firefighter, a college student,
a mother, and I am an American soldier. I will always be ready
for every storm and disaster that threatens my community. I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
We are rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
Welcome back to NewsWatch. Super Tuesday passed, and even the vastness of space couldn't prevent astronauts from participating. Sharing a picture on social media, the duo showcased their commitment to the presidential election by casting their ballots from the International Space Station. Their actions have encouraged more citizens to exercise their right to vote, demonstrating that civic engagement knows no bounds. And for celebrating International Women's Day, a collection of dolls has been crafted to honor influential figures. The lineup includes dolls inspired by actors Viola Davis and Dame Helen Mirren, superstars Shania Twain and Kylie Minogue, content creator Mara Gomez, and comedian Anissa Amani, to name a few. As International Women's Day approaches this Friday, it coincides with Barbie's anniversary and birthday, which is on Saturday, marking a special occasion to recognize and appreciate these influential women. Happy early birthday, Barbie. Well, before we close out today, Erica, can you tell us a little bit more about what our week may look like coming up?
Yes. So tonight it is going to be 57 degrees. There will be a slight chance of rain, about 30%. Then heading into tomorrow, there will be some rain again. It will be also about 30% chance of rain. And then Saturday, again, some more rain. And then Saturday, it will be a little bit colder at night with 37 degrees. And then on Sunday, it's going to be sunny, 74 degrees. And then Monday, it'll be sunny and 65.
I'll be looking forward to those sunny days.
Yes, me too.
Well, thank you, Erica, and thank you all for watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. I'm Juliana Jackson with your latest news.
I'm Evan Simmons with Sports Watch.
And with Storm Watch, I'm Erica Fontana.
Be sure to keep up with us on our socials and tune in tomorrow at 5. NewsWatch Ole Miss, where we keep it live and keep it local.